Kowalski analysis.
You said, how do you explain how we fall into lust?
Fall into lust?
Lust, yeah.
So lust is all about norepinephrine, which is the fight or flight response. So it's part of, it's like Mother Nature's way of, if you're going to die tomorrow, you might as well have sex tonight. It's kind of like the bigger the fear, if the bombs are going off, for some reason you think you'd want to run away, but it causes a sexual attraction. That's what norepinephrine is. And that's that when you walk in the room and you get that buzz and it's like your eyes connect and you get the sweaty palms and everything. That's norepinephrine. Has nothing to do with love. Let me repeat that. Nothing. Just sexual attraction. So once you, and that is temporary. So it's basically to try to get you together, and then you get to learn to know the person. But if you mistake that for love, then you're going to try to re-engage it, and the only way really to do that is drama. So you get in these like crazy relationships. So the classic example is Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. They met and married within 36 hours. So they met on a Friday, by Monday they were married, and their relationship lasted, I think it was 3 years. In the last 6 months, Tommy Lee was in county jail for domestic violence. So that's the type of relationship when you mistake that sexual attraction for love.
And what's the antidote to that? Is it just time?
Taking your time, yeah.
Yeah, and you think
waiting.
There you go. Why waiting works. No, so you think 90 days though is enough?
Well, I mean, I've been in my relationship for 13 years and I'm still learning stuff about him. So is 13 years enough? You can.
Let me ask you this. What if you would have dated this guy, right? Okay. You would have, you at some point you realized that you liked him, right? Maybe it was when, 3 months into it or whenever you decided that you were going to have sex with him. What if you would have because at this point now it's been 13 years and I'm sure you would probably like to walk down that aisle with this guy, right? Because that would be nice. So why wouldn't it have made more sense to just wait it and made him man up and put a ring on it?
Well, so we talked about past traumas, and one of his issues was he had just ended a pretty traumatic divorce. And he was very apprehensive about getting married ever again.
But this is what I say. Did he wait with that first one? My guess is no. Because my theory with all this is when you don't wait, especially men, again, we don't wait. If a woman was going to give it to us, we're going to take it. We take it and then we drift into relationships with the wrong people because of now, basically, like if you're giving me sex, even if I'm not in love with you, even if I'm dating other people, I know I still want to be free. At some point, I start to feel indebted to you because I know that I'm taking the sex, and I'd feel like a real shitbag if I went out and started dating somebody else. I'd crush you. So I'm like, just make you my girlfriend or make you my wife because
she also got pregnant.
What? Oh, she got pregnant.
She did.
Yeah, so that complicates things even more. So now he really felt like he couldn't. He probably felt trapped.
Well, she was pregnant when they got married. That's why they got married. So, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, go with it. I cut you off.
Well, that was part of the issue is that that relationship, and she ended up being. She had mental health issues, she had bipolar and stuff. So his relationship was like kind of crazy. So he was very apprehensive about getting into another. He wanted love. He wanted a relationship. That's our most primitive natural desire. But he also had the fear, as you said, of getting stuck, of the craziness. And then he already had adult children, or at least they were in college, and he had to factor in those things. They didn't want him to get into a relationship. So now as you get older, you have blended families, you have all kinds of other issues that come into play.
Yeah. No, I understand. So I'm going to run a couple of my, these are my strong beliefs, things that I say to people, when they ask me questions, and I want to hear from your standpoint, since you are a biologist. I just want to hear your take on it. So like my process is this, is if a woman is in a relationship with a man and they're physical and they're not yet married, and maybe the woman's wondering if the love is real, you know, what I say to do is stop having sex, have a conversation with that person, the man or a woman. Cause I actually did this with my girlfriend. So men too, have a conversation with your partner and say, look, I'm not sure if we're really in love, or I'm not sure if we're built to last, or I think we're in love. I know I love you and I really want to get married to you, but I want to make sure. And we're going to stop having sex. And if we both become convinced we're in love, let's get married and we'll have all the sex.
Yeah.
And it started on our wedding night. But if we're not in love, we're going to stop wasting each other's time. And you cut it off. And what happens is, because you're not getting all these chemicals released, you're able to evaluate and audit the relationship very clearly. And either you get married or that person leaves. But what I tell women, it's scary to do this, but a man that's in love with you is not going to leave because you won't have sex with him. He will be motivated to marry you, because at that point you put it back on him. You can have sex with me anytime you want. You just got to get married to me. So either you're going to find out that he was not really in love, which you just did yourself a big old favor, because you don't want to be with somebody that's not really in love with you. I hope not. Or you get the ring, you get the marriage, which is maybe what you want. If you're sleeping with him, it's probably what you want. Is that true? Because I know for me, if I was in love with a woman and she stopped having sex with me, it would motivate me to marry her if I was in love.
Okay. So my relationship, I said 13 years, we broke up. We stopped having sex. So he came back a little while later and then he put a ring on it.
Right. Well, okay. So it worked. You just proved my point. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If any women out there, it works. I did it on my end because I wasn't sure if I was in love. And for me, it was like, I was getting my relationship with God right again. And he started telling me, stop, basically, that this isn't right. Probably because he knew he wanted me to write a book down the road or whatever. But I just was like, okay, I'm going to try it your way. Cut it off. Clouds parted. We broke up 3 weeks later. And I was like, phew, dodge that one.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay, good. That's awesome.
Important. And I think that's part of what happened with our relationship. We both had the opportunity to get distance enough, because we met shortly after his divorce. I mean, I was like right on the heels of it. And I'm not sure if he felt like he had enough time to evaluate it. So we had a year apart. And when we got back together, I think he realized that he had the opportunity to take the time to, like you said, evaluate it and say, I dodged a bullet. Or in my case, he was like, oh, maybe I was letting a good one go.
Right. Yeah. He realized what he had.